There is a strange paradox in human health. When we talk about rare diseases, often called orphan diseases, we are talking about conditions that affect a very small percentage of the population individually. But collectively, these isolated groups add up to millions of people worldwide living with thousands of different conditions. To understand why these specific diseases are difficult to treat, we look at a foundational rule: structure determines function. Your body is run by proteins. They act as microscopic structural beams and mechanical enzymes, carrying out nearly every biological process. A rare genetic disease begins with a biological typo, causing a protein to misfold. Instead of an interlocking 3D structure, you get a deformed shape. Seeing how it misfolded was nearly impossible. Deciphering one protein shape experimentally took scientists years and millions of dollars. This physical bottleneck created severe economic consequences. Because orphan diseases impact such small, isolated populations, the medical industry rarely had the data volume or the financial incentive required to justify the massive cost of deciphering these broken proteins. For millions of rare disease patients, the barrier to a cure was entirely mechanical. It was a physical bottleneck of time and money that kept the origin of their symptoms hidden in the dark. That bottleneck is now being bypassed by an artificial intelligence system called AlphaFold. Developed by DeepMind, it solves this biological hurdle without the need for slow physical experimentation. Instead of relying on test tubes, AlphaFold uses deep learning algorithms. It scans a linear sequence of amino acids, the underlying code of the protein, and predicts the final, fully folded 3D shape almost instantly. A process that historically required decades of trial and error in a physical lab is now compressed into a highly scalable digital calculation. AlphaFold functions as the ultimate biological translator. Scientists can now look at a genetic typo and immediately see its exact physical 3D consequences without running a single physical experiment. Researchers are already taking these translations out of the digital realm and using them to reverse engineer cures for diseases that were previously poorly understood. Take cystic fibrosis, caused by mutations in the CFTR protein. AlphaFold generates a precise 3D model, revealing its specific structural deformity. With a perfect map, scientists design custom molecules engineered to fit that exact anomaly, locking into the deformed pocket and stabilizing the structure. This same method is being applied to conditions like Rett syndrome, a devastating neurological disorder, and progeria, a genetic condition characterized by accelerated aging. Both are driven by protein mutations that were historically incredibly difficult to map. AlphaFold has provided the first highly accurate structural blueprints for these disrupted proteins. By exposing the shape of the molecule, the AI identifies hidden, viable targets for drug development where scientists previously had none. By giving researchers the exact shape of these invisible anomalies, artificial intelligence turns rare diseases that were previously considered undruggable into solvable engineering challenges. Drug discovery is shifting away from a broad, one-size-fits-all model toward treatments tailored to the nuances of an individual's genetic code. This speed in structural mapping is being paired with gene editing tools like CRISPR. When AlphaFold identifies the exact structural error in a protein, it provides the physical coordinates for where the genetic source code is broken. By using the protein's shape to guide the edit, scientists are moving beyond managing symptoms. They are now attempting to correct the root mechanical cause of a disease at the DNA level. However, this level of personalization introduces immediate hurdles. Developing these highly tailored treatments requires vast amounts of personal genetic data, demanding extreme privacy and security measures to maintain public trust. There is also a major socioeconomic challenge. The medical industry has to ensure equitable access to these rapidly developing AI technologies, preventing a scenario where personalized cures are exclusively available to wealthy populations. Furthermore, before any of these AI-generated predictions reach a patient, the customized treatments must undergo rigorous clinical validation and strict regulatory oversight to ensure they actually work safely in the human body. For those previously sidelined by the high costs of orphan disease research, AlphaFold effectively generates the structural data that was once too expensive to find. By predicting the structures that experiments couldn't reach, it offers a pathway to treatment for the millions of people who were historically left behind.